Hello children. So here in this particular video, we are going to understand what is thrust and what is pressure. So before I get into explaining about what is thrust and pressure, let's first understand why is it important to study something called as thrust and pressure. Okay. So first to analyze that, let's try to visualize few things which is there around you and what would be the reason behind it. For example, I don't know how many of you would have noticed heavy vehicles, a bulk vehicle is normally provided with a broad tires, right? A thicker one. And when you compare to a normal vehicle, a small vehicle which we use, it's been provided with a narrow or a thinner tire. So what's the reason behind? Okay. A camel which you see comfortably walking on the sand in the desert. Are we able to walk so comfortably? No. What would be the reason? Okay, and then the knife and spoon. For example, when you're given a whole lot of vegetables to cut, do you prefer to use a knife for it or a spoon? A simple answer is knife. Why? So all these questions are there, and do you know what is the science behind it? So to answer those questions, we have to learn what is thrust and pressure. Okay, so let's understand what is thrust. Okay, so now thrust is nothing but it is a force acting on an object perpendicular to the surface. So let me explain with an example. If you can see here, you have a table on which a lamp is kept. Okay, so now this particular object or a lamp is exerting some force on the surface, that is on a table, in the perpendicular direction. So that force which is acting perpendicular to the surface is called as thrust. I'll explain with one more example. This is a common thing which you would have seen, the softboard pins which we used to pin on the softboard, right? So whenever I have to pin the softboard, you apply a force perpendicular. When you apply the force perpendicular, you see the pin gets into the board, right? But if you try to do it in a different angle, it doesn't work out. So that force which you are applying perpendicular to the surface is called as a thrust. Is that clear? Okay. Now the SI unit is Newton because this is a force. Thrust is nothing but it's a force, and you all know the SI unit of force is Newton. So the SI unit of thrust is again Newton. Okay. And this force is a weight of an object. You know that force and weight is connected because we have already learned the difference between mass and weight. There we have understood weight is nothing but it's a force, right? So same way, this is also a force. So this is nothing but it is also the force exerted by that object on the surface. So did you understand what is a thrust? Thrust is a force acting on an object perpendicular to the surface. Okay, that's the thrust. Now, understanding that thrust, we will learn more about something called as a pressure. So, what would be a pressure? Pressure is nothing but this thrust per unit area is called as pressure. Thrust is the force acting perpendicular to the surface, and this thrust acting per unit area is called as a pressure. Okay, that is a thrust by area, that is pressure is nothing but force by A, that is F by A. That's a formula what we use for pressure. Okay, and this totally depends upon the area with which it is in contact with. That I'll explain to you later. So for time being, understand pressure is thrust per unit area or force by area. Its SI unit is Pascal or Newton by meter square. This is the SI unit of pressure. Okay, so this is the thing that we know about pressure. So let's understand in detail about this pressure. Okay, so whenever you have a bag, this is a very common example. Have you ever tried this? If you buy a bag for your schools, normally all the school bags is provided by a thick strap. Do you know the science behind it? Have you ever seen this heavy bag provided with a thin strap? Thin strap is normally provided to a bag which does not carry much load. For example, your vanity bag, a stylish bag, all this may have a thin strap. But a bag which carries a heavy load is normally provided with a thick strap. You know why? Because when the area is more, the pressure is less. That is, you have a thick strap, so the area with which your body is in contact is more. So when the area is more, the pressure exerted by that load on your body is less. So you feel comfortable carrying a bag with a thick strap rather than the same bag with the same load which is provided with a thin strap. I want you all to try this. Try doing it, because when you have two bags, one with thick and thin strap, try to put the same load in both the bags and carry it. You will definitely note a difference. The one which a thicker strap will only give little pain to your shoulder because it is exerting very less pressure, because the area there is more. But for a thin strap, the area is less, so the pressure exerted is more, so you may feel more pain. Do you understand? So that is nothing but, we have already learned pressure is force by area. So from this you can understand pressure is inversely proportional to area. That is, when area is more, pressure is less. When the area is less, pressure is more. Okay. The second example is again of this thumb or a softboard pin. Have you tried to pin the softboard pin in the opposite direction where you have this plastic? You normally point out that sharp edge to the board, right? You don't point it on the other side. Why? Will you be able to do it? No, because the sharp end of a needle has got a very less area, so it exerts lot of pressure, so it gets into the board very easily. But if you try to reverse the position of the pin and try to insert it, definitely the area behind is comparatively more than the needle, so it's not easy for, or it's rather impossible for you to get into the softboard pins, correct? So that's the thing. Simple example, the next one. When you try to walk on the sand, you just try it by yourself. You go to a beach side, you stand. When you try to stand and walk, or you stand for a longer time, your foot gets into the sand because the pressure exerted is more. Same area, the same person, if he tries to lay down on the beach side, have you ever seen the sand getting into it? No, because for example, imagine a boy who is 10 years old. The same boy, he's standing on the sand. So that time his foot gets into the sand. But the same boy, if he's trying to lay down on the same sand with the same body mass, what happens? There you see the sand does not get into it, or there is no your body does not get into the sand. Why? Because when you lay down, your area, the surface area is more, but when you stand, only your foot is in touch with the sand, so the area is less, pressure is more, so your legs goes in. But when you lay down, your area is increased, the area which is in contact with the sand increases, and when the area increases, the pressure decreases. That's the reason when you stand, your legs get into the sand, but when you lay down, you don't feel that. Did you understand the science? Okay, fine. Then, have you ever, I've noticed this, a person who's trying to balance on a bed full of nails. I mean, this would be seen in some circus or some adventurous activities. I don't know how many would have noticed it. There will be a lot of, nails on the, wooden plank, and somebody tries to balance on it as an adventurous act. Do you know what is the science behind? See, when it is a single needle and if he tries to lay down on it, he will be in lot of pain. But what happens when you have lot of needles? The area is more. So when the area is more, the pressure exerted by that on your body is less. So you will be able to balance better, or you may feel little pain when there's lot of nails and you're laying on. But when you have one or two nails pricking your body, you feel more pain because there the area is less. So the pressure exerted is more. You feel more pain. Did you understand the concept? So this is all about pressure. So hopefully this concept is clear to you. So pressure is nothing but it is the thrust per unit area, and when the area increases, the pressure decreases, and when the pressure decreases, the area increases. So it is inversely proportional, and these are the examples to explain how is pressure and area dependent on each other. Is that clear? So now we will also understand the pressure in fluids. All these time we have discussed pressure in solids, right? So all about nails, camel food, things like that. But have you ever wondered, is there any pressure exerted by fluids? So before that, what is a fluid? Fluid is nothing which has got a capacity to flow, air or water, whichever flows or which has got a capacity to move or flow is called as a fluid. So now fluid also exerts a pressure, but where does it exert? It exerts the pressure on the wall of the container in which it is stored. For example, if you're blowing a balloon, the air is inside the balloon, and that air exerts the pressure on the wall of the balloon. That's the reason when you continuously blow the balloon, when the quantity of air increases, what happens? The balloon bursts, right? Correct? Because it is exerting continuous force on the wall, because the wall there is a balloon which is holding that pressure. To what extent can it hold? To a certain extent definitely it will hold, but when it reaches beyond its limit, what happens? When you continuously blow air, the balloon bursts out, right? So that's a reason, that's an example that a fluid also exerts pressure, both air and water. And where does it exert pressure? It exerts pressure on the walls of their container, correct? So to understand that, you should understand something called as a buoyancy. That is a little very interesting and a very good concept, an important concept. So that I will teach in my next class, because for that you should understand a lot of things. So hopefully the portions which is taught now in this particular video is clear to you all. I will meet you in my next video class or a session. Until then, I want all of you to take care. Have a great day and bye.